Alright everyone, welcome back to my channel, Baseball Talk with Nick Morgan. So today we're talking about the Braves signing 3 players so far this offseason, and those players include catcher Travis d'Arnaud and bullpen arms Will Smith and Chris Martin. So we're going to give you guys the full run through here in this video. We're going to talk about all the contracts, all the stats, all the facts behind these 3 guys, and how they are now going to be joining Atlanta for the 2020 season, and some for a little bit more than others. See, this is honestly really good. We've seen 2 big teams go out and make some moves so far this offseason, and that has been the White Sox and the Braves. No one else. Multiple deals from each of them, but, nothing else at the moment. We're still waiting for some big names to sign. Rendon, Strasburg, Cole, those will all be probably later on, closer to the new year at least. If not in 2020. So let's get into it. With that being said, we're going to first start with the catcher, Travis d'Arnaud. On November 24th, 2019, the Atlanta Braves signed Travis d'Arnaud to a 2-year, $16 million contract. Now, this past season, Travis played with the Mets and the Dodgers and the Tampa Bay Rays. And with all those 3 teams, he combined for 351 at-bats with a .251 average, with 16 home runs, 69 RBIs, no stolen bases, and a .745 OPS. He's a career .246 hitter and 1,688 at-bats, also racking up 63 home runs, 231 RBIs, 1 stolen base, and a .719 OPS. Now, d'Arnaud had some good years and some bad years with the Mets. Towards the end of his career with that New York team, he didn't look that great. He went to the Dodgers. I think he had 1 at-bat. I believe it was like a pinch hit opportunity, and that was all he got. He was then sent over to the Rays, and he actually did very well with Tampa Bay the second half of this year. He had a good bat. His glove was mediocre, not the best that you're going to get on the free agent market like there are other guys. If the Braves are really wanting a catcher, it was a better glove. But for the most part, Travis d'Arnaud is pretty good for you, and he's a good pickup. He's inexpensive, and it's a low risk and potential high reward because you really don't know what he is capable of doing this next season and this next 2 years with you. So I would love to see the Braves really get a good deal out of this, and d'Arnaud show up to the plate, have a great year, almost 20 home runs, 80 RBIs would be phenomenal next year for the Braves. If they got that out of d'Arnaud, that type of production, I think that'd be a successful contract and a good acquisition just there alone. But he does play with the Atlanta Braves for 2020 and 2021, according to his contract. He's getting $8 million a year. So again, pretty inexpensive, low risk, low reward, high reward, whatever the case may be, just kind of depending on what he produces for you at the plate and behind the plate. Now, he is replacing Tyler Flowers, who was the Braves' primary catcher this past year. In 2019, Tyler Flowers, again, he was the previous starting catcher for the Braves. He had a .229 average with 271 at-bats, hitting 11 home runs, 34 RBIs, no stolen bases, and a .733 OPS. So though d'Arnaud went to 2 more teams than Flowers appeared in this just season alone, he had a lot better stats across the board. And career-wise, Flowers does have some really good numbers, a .238 average, which is kind of low, especially from a big catcher. But honestly, as long as you're getting good defense, you have other guys that can make up for the average. He has 85 home runs, 296 RBIs, 2 stolen bases, and a .711 OPS, and 2,387 at-bats. So a lot more experience than d'Arnaud. But honestly, for the most part, they can definitely go ahead and platoon these guys back and forth, have d'Arnaud start, then Flowers. Because Flowers, there's nothing wrong with him. I think they were just trying to improve that catching position, which they did. Don't get me wrong, Travis d'Arnaud is really good, and he has the potential to be even better than what he's shown us recently. But yeah, honestly, I think this is a very safe pickup, and I like this. Hopefully it works out for the Braves in their favor, and it's one of 3 moves that they've already made, so they're showing that they can spend money and that they're going to spend money to get to a further point in the 2020 season than they did in 2019. So moving on, we're going to go ahead and talk about the Atlanta Braves assigning Will Smith to a 3-year, $40 million contract about a week and a half ago. So for my personal opinion, I think this is a perfect fit for both the Braves and Will Smith. The Atlanta team targeted bullpen help. They were looking for someone at the trade deadline to go ahead and acquire. They did that. They got a couple guys. Now this offseason, they go ahead, signing Will Smith, and just a few days later, Chris Martin, who we're going to talk about in a couple minutes. But Will Smith has been very dominant in his career so far. He pitched in 2019 with the San Francisco Giants, and in 63 games, he came across with a 6-0 record, 2.76 ERA, and 65.1 innings pitched, with 96 strikeouts, a 1.03 whip, and 34 saves. Now, in his career, Smith has pitched in 359 games with a 26-22 record, 3.53 ERA, 49 saves, 410.2 innings pitched, 494 strikeouts, and a 1.27 whip. So you're going to be able to hand Smith over the ball in any situation and expect him to get the job done and get the outs he needs. And for the most part, he will with ease. And I think the Braves really lucked out. This is kind of a steal. I mean, 3 years, $40 million. It's a little over $13 million a year. And personally, I think Smith is going to just excel in an Atlanta uniform. They have a very good squad. Other than that, they did lose Josh Donaldson to free agency. They might re-sign him, I don't know. But they also increased their bullpen help with Chris Martin. I'm sure they're not done yet. They're going to go ahead and pick up some more guys as well. But this is a great start and a solid arm. I can't stress this enough. I think Smith is going to be a huge part of the future for the Braves in 2020, in 2021, and in 2022 when he's there. I think he's going to help a lot. As long as he's healthy, he will be a beast. And, you know, he's a good arm overall, and he definitely bettered the bullpen. He's coming off a solid 2019. Not a whole lot of money the Braves had to give up to get him. I really like this. I think the Braves lucked out. Finally, we're going to go ahead and talk about the Atlanta Braves signing Chris Martin, another reliever, to a 2-year, $14 million contract. The news now, Martin broke just shortly after Will Smith and the news about him was released. So this is really cool. The Braves, almost like a 1-2 punch, signing 2 relievers, getting them off the market early on. Now, I personally don't know a whole lot about Chris Martin, but in 2019, he pitched in 58 games with a 1-3 record with a 3.40 ERA, 55.2 innings pitched, 65 strikeouts, a 1.02 whip, and 4 saves. Last year, he split time with the Rangers and the Braves, and in his career, he's a 2-10 pitcher with a 4.51 ERA in 144 games, 5 total saves, 133.2 innings pitched, 134 strikeouts, and a 1.257 whip. So he's not as good as Will Smith's going to be. He might be like a 6th inning guy, or if your starter's struggling, you're going to throw Chris Martin in for an inning or two, have him eat some outs. But for the most part, it's just a very, again, you know, low risk, potential high reward, but maybe not anything crazy. You're not spending a whole lot of money on Martin, so whatever you get out of him, you get out of him, and hope that the wins he gets you, if any, or the saves he gets you, if any, you know, will benefit you in every mean possible. So he's not a big Will Smith type of guy, but I do think the Braves might go ahead and try to target one more bullpen arm. That might just be me. But yeah, he's pretty okay. A decent right-handed guy. He's definitely going to better the bullpen and some of the guys the Braves had there to begin with. And this is 2 good pickups. They didn't spend a whole lot of money on these 2 guys. And I like what the Braves are doing. I think they're going to be very successful in 2020 if they keep this up. And I'm assuming, again, they're going to make some more pickups and additions to the squad as this offseason continues. With these 3 signings, of course, the Braves want to have a better 2020 than their 2019 season. They lost in the NLDS and was a series shy of potentially being the National League champions. Now, they do have, I think, what it takes if they maybe re-sign Donaldson, get a couple more bats, some big arms, and they could easily find themselves in the World Series very soon. They spent about $70 million this offseason. I think they're going to continue to make moves, and they have been one of 2 teams that have signed players actually this offseason so far. Them and the White Sox have both made multiple acquisitions, and those are really the only 2 teams we've seen do anything so far since the World Series came to an end. But it's exciting. The postseason is over. We miss baseball, but the offseason is just starting. We still have a lot of big names left on the market. So guys, that's going to end it for this video. If you enjoyed, don't forget to drop a like down below, comment, and subscribe. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you all next time. Peace.